Kunal Kamra, political comedian who somehow seems more political than real politicians. Well, he said some things about our electoral system during last month's live stream. Here is the clip.
एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है ये जो फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट सिस्टम होता है इसके लिए डिसएडवांटेज यही कहा जाता है कि ओवर द टाइम ये एक बाय पार्टी सिस्टम की ओर ले जाता है हमें क्योंकि बाकी पार्टीज जितनी रीजनल पार्टीज होती हैं उनमें स्प्लिट होते रहते हैं धीरे धीरे करके सिर्फ 2 कैंडिडेट्स रह जाते हैं तो ये बहुत बड़ा डिसएडवांटेज है इस टाइप के वोटिंग सिस्टम का।
पर उससे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होगा अगर हम ये सिस्टम ना यूज़ करें एक्चुअली तो लाइक वोट शेयर वाले पे है हाँ और ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम आएगा देन यू कैन पोलराइज फर्दर ना कि मतलब अगर 15% इंडिया डिसाइड करता है कि वीएचपी के पार्टी को वोट दे दे तो हाँ. उनको 15%
उनको 15% Hitler also got into parliament so but proposing an alternate system got to be very careful.
So as you saw, Kunal was trying to imply that our electoral system first past the post, that is a PDP's flop two-party system, is actually better than that quote other proportional representative option. It appears that he was considering that proportional representative is the best alternative to PDP. Well, that made us realize the dire need to put this video out. So let's begin. First, there is no perfect electoral system. Each got its own defects. While some systems are really worthless, some are actually capable of producing real democracy. Second, this two-party system. Let's take a look at how exactly it occurs. Consider an election with multi-aligned voters. 6 candidates were running in the election. Vimal specialist Ajay, non-political Akshay, hot seat provider Amitabh, Kuch wala Shahrukh, always PK Amir, and last being dear Salman. People voted for their respective ideology candidate. Here is the percentage vote received by each candidate in first election. With 40% vote share, Amitabh won the election. Now during second election, people who voted for Ajay might not vote for him considering that he got no chance to win. They realign with similar ideology candidate Akshay. Same thing happens with the voters of Salman. Instead of him, they vote for Amir. Again, Amitabh wins the election. Now, during third elections, voters again realign themselves considering that their first and even second choice stand no chance to win. And then there remain just 2 candidates at the end. That's how we end up in the two-party system, by losing our first, second, and sometimes even third choice to having to choose between just 2 choices. Now you would ask why many countries are still using it then. Well, defenders of FPTP have always avoided that question by saying, quote, its benefits downplays its flaws. Then let's analyze its benefits and flaws one by one. Benefits of two-party system. First, stability of governments. They say that two-party system always provides stable governments as compared to the PR system. Well, here is the report on all past global elections which contradicts that totally. If you look closely, you can see that stability has nothing to do with electoral system. Actually, PR systems are in par with FPTP in providing high average duration governments. And in particular of India's case, average age of governments is just 2 years, which is way too low of stipulated 5 years. So definitely FPTP has failed to provide stable governments in India. Second, for voters it's easier to understand and use. They say that easy system increases faith in electoral process while complexity is discouraging for voter turnout. Well, here is the report on average voter turnout in elections around the globe, which also somehow contradicts it. As you can see, all FPTP countries except UK, Nepal and Papua New Guinea have performed average on voter turnout, while there are 12 other PR system countries who scored better on voter turnout than UK. And in particular of India's case, voter turnout is just 61%, which means FPTP is actually discouraging Indians to vote. Now, flaws of two-party system. First, and most important one, surprise effect. Consider back again the results of third election. Amitabh had won with 55% of votes, and Shahrukh had received 45% of votes. Now in fourth election, Shahrukh in order to win fields a phony candidate who also aligns with the voters of Amitabh. This phony eats up some votes out of vote share of Amitabh. So as a result, Shahrukh now becomes a max vote holder and wins. This kind of things happens all the time in India and you will be amazed by the magnitude with which this effect is used in India. Second, polarization and party vision voting. Well, we really don't need to remind you about the polarization which resides today in India due to increasing party inclinations of Indian elections. This societal, ideological and even political divide in India seems increasing day by day. And this two-party system will always result in divided society as their core voter base keeps on increasing. That's why these days we see people defending their favorable party blindly. This results in party-specific voting instead of candidate-specific voting, which is exactly what happened in 2019 elections. Third, little choice. Haven't you come across a situation where you admired one candidate from one party and another from different, and you wished you could support both of them? Just consider if in each election you as a voter could actually get number of votes equal to the number of candidates running in that election. That is, you could get to rank each candidate as per your liking. Wouldn't it be great? But there is no way you could even dream of that in two-party system. In a PTP, you get just one vote per voter that you could give to only one candidate. In case of electoral system, choice is like consider more the merrier, but a PTP clearly fails to provide sufficient choice. Now, you got our point that there are no benefits of two-party system to downplay its flaws. And there are plenty of more flaws of this PTP system which makes it the worst of all. Now, as per what Kunal said, that PR system makes it easy for extremist parties to win. We will give an explanation for that in PR systems video. But first, in our next video, we will explore another well-refined system which we actually use in our Rajya Sabha elections. That is STV, Single Transferable Vote, and how changing to it might impact India. Until then, it's your job to share this video with your family and friends. And somehow, if this video comes across Kunal, we would like to tell him something. So Kunal, our PTP is actually the worst of all electoral system. That's why lots of progressive countries like New Zealand have ratified it. And we also need to. Otherwise, there is no future for democracy in India. That's why we need to start this political debate. Public figures like you hold a measured charisma to influence many people. And we know that you will influence people for good cause. We hope that you understand. Thank you.